Welcome to the third session. So amazing to see so many of you join. Okay, so for those who are joining for the first time, very quickly, you have Aman, head of growth here, Victor, head of SEO, and I'm SEO co-founder of Alpha Green Group. So initially, we built Alpha Green IO, the CBD marketplace, which became the largest in Europe, purely with SEO as a channel. We then launched more brands and also acquired 96 North, which is an aromatherapy brand. And then we basically said, well, why don't we start an agency to actually help other people scale the same way we scaled? And initially we had mostly consumer brands, and now we have more than 20 companies, all the way from fintech, SaaS to consumer brands, obviously, as clients for SEO services. And we also do email marketing, PPC, and a bunch of Amazon services as well now. Cool. Today's session is all about technical SEO. And before we launch the session, our favorite poll exercise. So last time we had really, really interesting results. So I will launch the first poll, which is, are you currently executing on SEO? And let me watch that one. Cool. So actually, it looks like this time there are way more people who actually do already stuff in terms of SEO work, which is interesting because we are moving to more and more technical sessions. Cool. So right now, we have 56% of you are committed to and implementing SEO already. 26% are considering SEO, and 19% have not started yet. So that's cool. Awesome. So many of you asked for materials to be shared, and we are launching a Slack group to build a community to continue our work sessions in form of office hours, and also just ask me anything sessions on Slack. So we will be sharing some of the materials there. We won't share like the full videos, but we will share it piece by piece. And we are also building a learning section on NUOPTIMA.com. However, because again, some of you missed session 1 and 2, we have some recap slides here. So I guess the next kind of, section here, we'll just briefly touch on channel layering, content strategy, and tracking and ROI. And then after that, we jump into the technical SEO part. So in terms of channel layering, we explained in session 1 is that usually you're doing more than one growth channel, and looking at various growth channels, probably the most effective one is outbound sales, especially if you're a B2B business. But it's also really, really expensive and still takes quite a long time to really kind of like bring you good results. Then you have a social media. Again, it takes forever, but then once it really works, it actually works really well. And you can see, for example, with Google Ads, it's actually one which brings you results very, very quickly. As you can see here, and let me move it to slideshow. As you can see here, it gets you results very quickly, but then CAC usually goes up because more of your competitors come into the market as well. They figured out what you figured out, and therefore the kind of efficacy of that channel goes down. And so what's interesting with SEO, it's probably one of the channels which takes the longest to show results. But then once you actually have reached a certain level, it's one of the most effective channels, and really, really the best one in terms of best value and money spent. And so, yeah, one example of that is, I guess when we evolved from being a marketplace to more health and wellness brand group, we said, okay, well, how do people find out about us and that we want to acquire brands. And there were so many other aggregators out there, and we just created an article, the top, complete Amazon FBA aggregator lists and ranking. If you type in right now, FBA aggregators, Amazon aggregators, we are number one in Google organically. And above us, there are so many other aggregators spending, 5-10 pounds per click, even sometimes, because it is very competitive keyword. And if you kind of calculate our ROI, we've already spent $300 writing and researching about it, about the space, where obviously we are now second ranked, also Green Group there. And in the last, I guess, since February, we got traffic, which is worth around $11,000. So obviously a really, really good ROI. The second topic we discussed in the second session then was really content strategy. And we discussed how you want to understand what keywords your ideal customer profile is looking for. And then the way you pick them is you really compare the search volume and the keyword difficulty and start creating a content plan. And the content plan is usually created around keyword clusters. So we've shown the example of Full Company, which is one of our clients, where we have clusters such as antioxidant drinks, healthy soft drinks, best morning drinks, and then hangover drinks. And then each cluster has a bunch of posts around it. So when it comes to antioxidant drinks, you have like the top 10 antioxidant drinks. And then, how do antioxidant drinks help you? What are the benefits? What are the, the risks of drinking antioxidant drinks? And then the same thing for hangover drinks, best morning drinks, et cetera, et cetera. But of course, also very important, we discuss how to not cannibalize your content, i.e. every single piece of content should really answer a search query rather than 2 or 3 content pieces answering the same search query. That's not great. Cool. And then we discussed how do you actually know if your content and your SEO strategy is effective? And we basically said, look, there are 3 different indicators we're tracking: page indexed, organic keywords indexed, and then organic traffic. And as you can see, every time we published content, so once a month, there was a big jump in pages indexed. So you really see the step change. And then you really see almost like a 7-week lag until Google starts indexing the keywords of the new pages published, and then another 3 weeks until these keywords bring you the traffic. So you're basically looking at 10 weeks just to get really some impact from the content published, which is why, again, we usually work with a minimum of 6 months. And then most of our clients have been with us, a year, 1.5 years now. And that's a really interesting also example. When we early August showed you the example of Full Company, they were at 30,000 visitors per month, and now they're actually at 45,000 visitors per month. So in 14 days, exactly 2 weeks, I guess, after our first session, they've grown 50%. Awesome. So I will pass over to Aman and make him host. And then, as usual, towards the end, we obviously have time for Q&A. So do please write your questions into the Q&A function, and then we answer them after the answer.
Awesome. Thank you. Am I a host now?
No, 1 second. Yeah, no, thank you, host now.
Cool, thank you. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Got some yeses or nos in the chat. Cool. I hope I'm seeing some yeses. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Cool. Okay, demystifying technical SEO. So Alexi's given like a roundup of session 1, session 2. This part of the session will be myself and Victor leading it, and we've split it into 3 parts. The first part is, what is technical SEO? How do you conceptualize it? How do you understand it from a leadership perspective? The second session, or part of the session, is focusing on 12 very impactful technical SEO tips you can implement today. So be ready taking screenshots to send to your tech team as you go live, let's say. And the third part is we want to teach you how to read an SEO audit. The goal of this session is to give everyone here confidence that they understand what technical SEO is. We find with, let's say clients or prospective clients, or just anyone we speak to about technical SEO, is it's very easy to get taken advantage of, because it's sort of this gray field where no one really understands what's going on. And there are a lot of key words I can use that can confuse prospects or confuse, executors, which means it is very easy to be taken advantage of. So today's goal is to really give everyone here confidence to understand what it is and to give some key tips to start executing straight away. Cool. So what is technical SEO? Oh, actually, no, let's do a poll first very quickly. Is someone tracking and improving technical SEO for your company? So I'm trying to understand, is technical SEO even on the roadmap for you guys right now? Are you guys completing it? Cool. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Okay. Super interesting split. I think 60 participants have answered. Let's get a few more. So 80%. Cool. All right, sweet. So the results are basically showing about 2/3 of people, so around 66% of people, are not doing technical SEO or thinking about it or tracking or improving it. And 33% are. So I think this will be a good topic for today for sure. Let's me end that. Sweet. So technical SEO. If you want to conceptualize it and understand it on a very high level, it's about making your website easy for Google to understand, easy for Google to read, and aligned with all their best practices. So the analogy we like to use is you can sort of think of it as a car without wheels or with wheels, and technical SEO being the wheels of your car. You can have very rubbish secondhand wheels on your car and you can drive. And that's the level of, say, like, you need to have a minimal level of technical SEO for your website to say, take off, be indexed, get ranked. If I upgrade my wheels to say, like, racing tires, slicker wheels, my website will get better up to a certain point, / there are marginal gains associated with it. I would get more value probably from improving the engine size, making the chassis lighter, adding flame stripes to the side. The general point being is technical SEO is needed at the beginning, and then post that point, there is sort of marginal gains after you've done everything right to some degree. So technical SEO at the beginning is something you do, and then later on becomes something you're just tracking and you're monitoring and you're sort of fixing every week, every couple of weeks, whenever you see errors or whenever you see issues appear, or whenever Google does an update. So in summary, technical SEO is the wheels to your car, and the car being your site, your content, your landing pages, your backlinks, everything else that comes into SEO. Cool. Awesome. So to even understand this further, let's create a hypothetical scenario where everyone in this, all the participants in this room have created a search engine. You own your search engine. You created, Google 2.0 in the 2000s. What would you like every website to do so that your search engine can function? So feel free to put in the chat. If you owned a search engine, what would you like every website to do so that you could operate as a search engine? Cool. Use the same language and structure. Good. Really good answer. Be searchable, find good quality content. Exactly. Really good answer. So these are it's a very basic idea. You just need to be very searchable, standardized. Good, right. Standardized quality layout. Perfect. So what I wrote down, which is very similar to you guys, I would say there's 3 really obvious things that you need to be able to do. Oops, let me go back a bit. You need to obviously have a website domain, and Google needs to know that you own that website domain. You need to give Google a map, X marks a spot. How do I even go about understanding this domain, understanding all the pages? And then Google needs to know, or, your search engine needs to know what every page is about. What is the topic of this page? How do I understand it? And so from, let's say, a technical SEO perspective, to achieve these three goals, you need to be, let's say, using Google Search Console, using a sitemap.xml, robots.txt, and having a meta title or a H1 heading. So you can begin to see that there are once you understand conceptually what technical SEO is, the solutions, even though they sound complicated, are very obvious. Like you just need to a sitemap. I need to give a sitemap to Google and they need to know how to look about it. Google needs to be able to read one sentence on the page and know exactly what it's about. That's the meta title or the H1 heading, or both to some degree too. So that's 2000 SEO thinking. And that was enough in the 2000s to get going. But when you got to 2022, what happened is Google got really clever, and Google could do all of the above. And so if you were to create a search engine right now, you're not in sort of creation phase, you're in optimization phase. Google owns the market. They're a monopoly, no matter what they say in all their hearings, which means their job is to make the best user experience possible. And so it's beyond knowing the sitemap. It's about all these extra little additions and features that they can either, sell as ad units, or again, make the consumer's experience as good as possible. So it could start as simply as really complicated bits. I don't know, who was the author of each page? What are their credentials? I want to have lightweight images. So this is another key point. Google wants to make the best user experience, but they also want to make their job as cheap as possible. So they want to be able to go into a website and everything should be available for them to read. They don't want to have to do any extra work. So you're also optimizing for the way Google interacts, because again, they're the monopoly now. They want to see multi-language. They want to see reviews on any product page. They want to see FAQ blocks. They want to see linking. They want to see great UI, social tags, schema org. They want to see visual stability. And visual stability being, when I open a page, it shouldn't jump around, all the blocks be moving. It should just be static, clear. I know what I'm getting. So if you were to, all these little bits of the additional features, and if you want to understand how Google's thinking right now, all you need to do is go on this site. So if I scroll out, let me just move this block. Can you guys see the Google website? Yeah, cool. So look, you got this documentation page. So if I go to documentation, there's so much information here about how you should use Google. And then you can even go into the news, see what the latest news is. You can see that, Google's announced a new Search Console video index report. And this is a signal saying, I now really care about video. So Google's got past the stage of create good content. They now want to see video in the content. And this technically is technical SEO. Your technical SEO person is watching these updates, looking for what's going on, and trying to understand, how do I create an amazing user experience that will last the test of time? People already knew about video. Let's say 1 year ago, we all knew video was really important. It took some time for people to realize, okay, I should probably start embedding videos in my Google search, in my articles. So you can go to the archives, new structured data. Google now really cares about all these other bits here. So, and it's really important to be on top of technical SEO, because you'll notice if you don't, you lose real estate. So I'm Googling, CBD oil 10%. And if I look at first, I see Nature Can at the top. They have a review block. They have some number of reviews. They have pricing. They have in stock, all this really important, valid and contextually rich information that Brown CV doesn't have. CBD Guru does have it. Glenn Barrett's does have it. So these are clear shows of signs that these guys are doing technical SEO. They understand schema org. These guys don't. And they're going to be losing out in the long run because of it. Awesome. Cool. So let me just quickly answer some questions now, because I see a bunch of really good ones coming in. I'll answer the question around search engines. Are the technical SEO principles across search engines the same? Generally, yes. Google again has the monopoly, so you kind of want to optimize for them. But generally speaking, they're like the leader in the pack, so you kind of should be going along the same lines. Now, there will be nuances between search engines, different ways to interact with them, different ways to send them data. That's something you sort of look into one by one. Would you say that's a fair answer, Victor?
Yes, I agree.
Awesome. Cool. And then finally, if you want to screenshot a slide, probably just screenshot this one now very quickly. If you wanted a list of lots of technical SEO things, keywords that you should know, you can go through this. This is something we do for all our, all our projects we work on. But this is like the minimum of kind of what you need to understand to be a sort of technical SEO wizard or expert. And we'll go through some of these in this presentation. But as you can understand, the scope of it is quite extensive and becomes very relevant and specific when you have certain scenarios happening on your website. Cool. So that was a really brief summary of what technical SEO is and an explanation of it. The next part of the session is really focusing on 12 technical SEO tips that you can implement today. And so the function of it will be, I will give screen share access to Victor. And then Victor's going to go through each example, and then we're going to sort of debate or discuss it a little bit. And then feel free to put your questions in as we go along. There you go, Victor, I think you're host.
Mm-hmm. So hello, everybody. You can see my screen now, yes?
Yeah, can see it.
Yeah, cool. Let me adjust a few windows and we can start. So in this part of presentation, I'll just show you 12 really interesting and really useful tips, which you can just implement on your website straight away. And this tip will allow you increase your ranking, increase your traffic from search engines, and increase your indexing for your website. So first is index your backlinks. The thing is, you have a lot of, probably if your website is not brand new, probably you have a lot of backlinks already, but not a lot of them, not 100% of them are indexed by Google. So part of your backlinks are just not visible for Google. So there exist, but not work for improvement your SEO at all. And you can go to Ahrefs and go to Site Explorer and type your domain name. I just pick this domain as an example because we have the situation where they have backlinks from Wikipedia, from very important and very trustworthy websites like that with very high domain rating. And unfortunately, that backlinks are pointing to the page, which is just not exist anymore on that website. So you see how interesting is that, because literally people sometimes pay a lot of money to get backlinks like that, and they already have backlinks like that, but they have no effect on their website. They have no positive effect because they point into the page which is not exist. And to be able to fix that, you can just create a redirect from that broken page to any relevant page, or to home page, to category page sometimes. And you can find a lot of situations like that with any e-commerce project. Or if you rebuild your project completely, probably there will be the same situation, a lot of pages like that. Typical example is you had a product, it was indexed, it had some backlinks, but it was sold out or like updated, removed, and you lose all backlinks the moment you will delete that project from your website. So that's about getting back your backlinks. Aman?
Yeah, awesome. Really good one. So yeah, the summary being generally happens in two scenarios that we observe at least. One scenario, you're an e-commerce project, you had some products live, and for some reason, someone in marketing said, oh, we don't need this product anymore. Someone took it too literally and deleted the product and lost the URL or lost the backlink. And we lose all these backlinks associated with that. And then you lose all that SEO juice. Remember, SEO for a website is really interlinked. So even if it's going to a place where, you don't have, it's not relevant for your product anymore, still keep it there, still keep that traffic, still keep that backlink. Really, really important. And the second scenario, which Victor mentioned, was if you change project, or in other words, you go from one domain to another domain, This is what proton.me did. They had protonmail.org, I think, as an initial domain. They moved domain, but didn't move all their backlinks, which is let's say a big SEO error from the technical perspective. You need someone watching that to make sure it doesn't happen. Awesome.
So another good example where you can fix your website SEO straight away and get some improvements and is going through your website and find all broken links and fix them. You can do that with a lot of different software. I prefer use Ahrefs and for example, this is Ahrefs report, and we have after running this report, we have amount of pages with a link to broken page, like 404 is broken page. There was 25 problems like that. And after that, you can see it was 28 July. And for example, in August 6th, we already have only 4 of them. So almost all that problems were fixed. So that's also can improve user experience because nobody likes when you're like crawling through a website and you find the link and you tap on it and you can just go to that page. So probably it's important not only from SEO perspective, but also from just improving your user experience.
Awesome. That's a really good one too. Victor, when we go to slides, can you go full screen just while we're on the PowerPoint and then just go out of full screen?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. So yeah, let's go full screen now and go to the next one. Cool. Sweet. Yeah, go for it.
Mm-hmm. So this topic is how to get back what is yours, and you can go through if your website has a huge history. If it's not a brand new website, you can go to a Google Search Console and download a list of your pages for the last 18 months because it's 16 months because it's the biggest amount of period you can get. And check response codes with any kind of, for example, Screaming Frog or any other software and find lost pages. And that basically will mean that you had that page before. You had traffic to that page. You had some keywords ranking for that page. And at some period of time, for some mistake or some other reason, you just lost that page. And by recovering pages like that, you can get back with that traffic that you already had before, but you lost it. How is it looks in a Google Search Console? Basically, Google Search Console, and then search results. Go to pages report, and then download all that pages, and then scan every single page with some mass scanning pages software to find what pages gives you 404 response code.
Awesome. That's a really good one. Tim, good question. What would cause a page to be lost? There are a lot of reasons why pages are lost. Sometimes URLs get changed. Sometimes you change domain. Sometimes someone might say, I want to move the subfolder of the blog page. So for example, someone's put a blog page under, I don't know, /insights, and they're like, we want to change to something else, /SEO insights. We want to, categorize it even further. Generally, there are remnants, if it's not done correctly, that you can get 404 errors, or, people just delete pages for whatever reason. So the general rule here is download a list of pages, chuck it through a software to tell you if those pages still exist or not, and go through it one by one and understand what's happened. When we work on new projects, a lot of these steps are the first steps we do. And it's really easy to get big sort of results for new projects in the first month just by doing a lot of these fixes, because you've done a lot of hard work before and it's just about bringing that hard work back.
Yeah. I have just very fine example on that side. We used to work with e-commerce project with a huge shop, and there had a URL structure with a domain name, then category name, and then a product name. So domain, category, and product. And some manager just randomly decide to change the name of category. And that was caused to change name of category in URL, and whole category, like 30% of the website, become to be with a new URL, and all old URL was lost just because one manager changed one word in admin panel. And we usually do weekly audit to check all that stuff to prevent that from happening. But that's how randomly and how crazy this can happen.
Yeah. It's kind of got to a point where it's so complex. Lots of weird things can happen without much awareness, like a little action on your back end of your WooCommerce or your Shopify or your WordPress or whatever CMS you're on can cause these SEO issues, which you don't realize for say 2-3 weeks until you see a traffic drop.
Cool. So now let's talk about easy way to speed up your website, because probably in like junior SEO specialists take care a lot only about speed factors, because it's easy to see, because you have Lighthouse like Google Speed page speed testing tool, and you have like easy to understand rank. Are you like low or high in terms of speed? And usually people care a lot about website speed, and it's not the most important factor. So probably first is to have relevant pages to rank, but website speed is still sometimes very important factor. And there is an easy way to fix and to improve any problems with speed. You can just use Cloudflare. It's a content delivery network where you can add your website, change the name servers for your domain, pick just a free plan, and then go to browser cache and set it for 1 year. And also you can add compression for HTML, compression for JavaScript, and for like a lot of other elements on your page. And that will allow you to improve your website speed super fast, super safe. You will not be in a situation when some developer like broke something or something like that. And it's like just very easy to do. And we use that like in almost all projects.
That's awesome. That's a really good one. I think that's like a big, that's like a dirty secret, but like a lot of agencies put so much overemphasis on speed because it's so easy just to say like, oh, it's slow. And you're like, look, your website's doing really poorly. It's slow. In reality, it takes like 2 minutes to fix. It's one task you give to your dev team. Most of the time, just installing Cloudflare is enough. Of course, there are other, more technical bits you can get into, but it's fairly easy to get this fixed. So yeah, that's great. So this is a website. That's the cache.
Mm-hmm.
Super easy.
Another one is create indexable filters. And that's also a really interesting case because sometimes there is the best way to improve not just only amount of traffic and amount of keywords, but also improve your sales, especially for e-commerce websites. For example, you have a website with clothes or shoes or whatever, and you have big amount of products, but you only have, for example, like category, I don't know, dress, pants, hats, whatever. But you don't have a category for example, red dresses. And to be able to get that people who are searching for red dresses, you definitely need to create category or filter for that page. And that's not enough. You also need to make it indexable. So you need to create relevant page, and you need to make it indexable, and you need to make Google index that page. And on this slide, we can see the project, and somewhere there was we created part of that filters and categories, and somewhere there another part, and that allow us dramatically increased amount of keywords. And the beauty is that's super relevant keywords with the very high buying intent, because if you write in a blog post or articles or something like that, that also can bring you relevant traffic. But people who are actually looking for small red dress, it's the people who are ready to buy that small red dress. And if you will be able to target that keywords with creating that kind of pages and get that traffic will shows you much better conversion rate compared to any other type of traffic, because people already really know what they are looking for.
Sweet. That's a really good one. Can we show like an example?
Yes.
So it's a devotion. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, one second. So this website, just an example, we've created a lot of different categories for every different style, every different season, every different, like every single type of dress, what people may look for. And the separate page for every type of dresses allow us to rank for keywords related to that type of dresses and acquire customers and acquire visitors who know what they want and ready to buy.
Cool. So let's say if we click on beach wedding dress. So devotion dresses have thousands of dresses, all ranging in the £800 plus mark. So if you look at the URL, it's category wedding dresses tag equals beach. So these are now just like, it's just basically a filter, but the filter is now indexed by Google, which means that it can be seen by Google, and that now when someone Googles, top beach wedding dresses, this comes up. This is the e-commerce equivalent of different landing pages for different target audiences. Yeah, Jacob, sorry, that's perfect. Great understanding. So let's think of like Zapier, for example. Or we can even think about our NUOPTIMA. We have landing pages that have service, the keyword for, and then industry. So for example, we can go social media posting tool for construction industry, social media posting tool for, I don't know, cleaning industry. You could do that for multiple industries. And so you're effectively creating different landing pages. The reason why we see an error with this so much is in the B2B space, everyone's really aware this is a thing. In the e-commerce space, everyone forgets that filters can be also indexed. And that filters are another way for you to get middle funnel / bottom funnel search intent traffic. Middle funnel being they are ready for, they know what category they want. They know what type of product they want. They just haven't chosen the brand. So it's sort of category level awareness.
Okay. So next one is add internal links to your top pages. That's basically a trick which will allow you to increase your conversion rate dramatically, because you can just go to your Google Search Console, find what pages on your website getting a lot of traffic, and usually website owners really surprised by that because they think one page is acquiring the most traffic, but reality is like usually totally different. And we usually show that this particular pages gives you the most, the biggest amount of traffic. And then you can add some internal links. So links from your one page to your, for example, product or your money page or your main landing page, sometimes contact information, homepage, whatever. And you will get increase in sales because you will push more traffic to your money pages. And you also will increase your amount of views per user, which will be also good from a Google perspective of view, because Google will see that you are looking through, your visitors looking through bigger amount of pages. And just an example, we have this page in Full Foods with the top 12 best spirulina brands. And people, that's just actually one of the most popular, successful pages on this website. And people who are looking for spirulina brands, breast spirulina brands, can see this page on a, like literally on a first position. And they are going through that page, reading about that. And they already know that they are looking for spirulina brand. They are ready to buy some spirulina. And then directly from that, they can see our spirulina products, not our, but our clients, and go by. And we can see in our analytics that people really who go to this page are going to product pages and they going to make a purchase. So that's a good technique, which you also can use in almost every project when you have a lot of pages. And if you do search engine optimization, you probably will have a lot of pages. You can find which page is more popular and like adjust your traffic flow to get better results.
Awesome. That's a really good one. This is where the lines between like conversion rate optimization and SEO get slightly blurry. So you say the SEO guys are responsible for bringing in the traffic. Who's responsible for converting that traffic? If you're bringing qualified traffic in, you kind of need someone in-house being very on it and saying, okay, look, I'm getting great traffic. It's high intent. Let me test different conversion blocks or different call to actions. From an SEO perspective, we just want the traffic to go from blog page to product page to show intent to Google that the product page is a really valuable page. By the way, when we added all these conversion blocks and these internal links, the product page went up in search ranking because there was a clear sign to Google that this product page is very good. It's very relevant for the consumer. And they rewarded us by pushing that page up. So internal links are super, super important for both conversion, but also for the SEO of your money pages / the pages that are actually making you revenue.
So another very important topic is your money, your life, and expertise, authority, and trustworthy. Because people, Google these days don't want to show just random content created by a random content writer at the top of search results. Because especially in niches which are relevant to your health and wellness, especially in niches which are relevant to like medicine or something money related for about your success, whatever. People really want to read something which was written or edited or like reviewed by some industry experts, industry professionals. And just to give you an example, how we solve that like problem or how we make our website relevant for that algorithm. This is a page about complete guide for mobile SEO. And at the end of that page, you can find information that this page was like written or edited or reviewed by me because I am like SEO expert. And when we have page with that kind of information, and by the way, we also use that information in schema.org markup, Google see that this page is not just contains random information, but this page was created or reviewed or edited by an expert. So this page can be pushed to the first position, and that will allow you to rank higher, get better traffic. And also, people are also interested in who's an author of content they are reading, because a lot of like misleading information, and it will also improve a user experience for your website.
Yeah, I think actually I was thinking about this the other day. I think with AI generated content and people being able to just stick any author on there, I think this is going to become slightly more important, or Google needs to find a way to really understand the contextual authority of that individual. So I expect a lot more, updates in this sort of space. I don't know, 6-12 months is my gut feeling, at least.
Yep.
Cool.
Another one is check your backlinks profile, because backlinks profile may be good, but it might be really bad for your website, because sometimes backlinks are pushing your website higher. Sometimes backlinks will be a reason why your website can be penalized and removed from Google search engine results page. What you need to see on at your backlinks profile is that you definitely need to see some branded anchors, definitely need to see some domain anchors, some visual natural anchors. And usually it's more popular to have more backlinks to a homepage, but it can vary from industry to industry. And also you can find that you have some competitors who've been spamming your website and put a lot of like bad anchors and backlinks to your website. Just to give you an example, there is a report for one medical website which sells medical equipment for clinics. And on this graphic, we can see a huge spike at the one moment, like in March 2021, with a lot of backlinks, and another spike over there. And if we will go and check anchors, we can see that it has nothing to do with like medical equipment for medical hospitals, whatever. Because basically one of the competitors just spamming websites in his niche to push them down and to try and to like unfair competition. So you definitely need to keep in mind that it can happen. And the moment your website will be more and more popular, the more and more risk of spammy backlinks or just bad backlinks you will have. And what you need to do is find all that bad backlinks and put it into a disallow list in a Google Search Console to say Google, like, this is not my backlinks. Please, like, don't take them into account.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So yeah, how do you counteract such attacks? You basically have to disavow them. But the bigger thing is you need to know they existed in the first place for that to happen. I think when Victor discovered this, he looked at every website in the top 10 search results and found only one of them didn't have those spammy backlink anchors, but the rest of them did. So it was kind of very clear who the competitor was that was targeting everyone else. Yeah, so there are some dangerous attacks you can sometimes get if you're not keeping an eye on stuff. It mainly happens in like health niches, anything with really high value to consumers is where, like, let's say spammy SEO players generally start trying to take effect.
Yeah. I mean, usually the more competition in the niche, the more awareness you need to have when you're working in that niche, because a lot of you have a pretty high chance that you need to fight with some unfair competitors.
Yeah. So to restate, you basically need to disavow those backlinks. So to Hannah, you asked the question, yeah, you basically disavow them.
And another like tip advice is much more important in a real life than it sounds on a presentation, but you should never go cheapest way. And it's also right for a content, for a backlink, for SEO experts you hire, for SEO agency you work with a developer, because every time you will go like the cheapest way, you definitely need to pay more to fix what was done bad way. For developers, probably you will find out that you need to rebuild the website completely, because the way the website was created initially, you cannot work with that, and any like agency will be able to work with that kind of website. With a backlinks, probably you not risking only money for that backlinks. Like it's not a lot of money. Maybe it will be 0x, so I will lose like that money for backlinks, but you can be penalized and your website can go down with a bad backlinks. The same situation with with the content. If you are, for example, you need to rank for top Slovenia brands, as our previous example, and you want to rank for that keyword, and you write in a piece of content which is worse than top 30 pieces of content already in Google. That means you spend money to write content which will have zero chance to rank on the first page. And by doing that like 100 times, and for example, somebody just saw in the internet advice to, I don't know, write more content. And by writing 100 bad articles, which are just worse than you need to get to the first page, you will be stuck with 100 articles on a like 9-10 page in a Google search engine results, and you will never get any traffic. And that bad content will even push down your good pages. So never go the cheapest way is a good advice you can always like take into account.
Yeah, I think Katie had a really good question. Do you have a WordPress plugin you prefer for SEO? I think it's a good question because it raises another point. Don't go for the plugin which doesn't have enough reviews or is like the cheapest one that doesn't have enough support. like plugins are a really big place where people lose so much SEO value, either because the plugins, like in short answer, crap, or the plugin has not been built right, or it's slowing your website down, or you think, oh, we'll just install this plugin, but it has so many effects thereafter. So yeah, Yoast is good. Like everyone try to go for like industry standard techniques, plugin solutions is generally the better way to approach these sort of things.
Mhm. And about like Wix websites, I can see also a good question about like Wix websites and all kind of websites with very limited ability to own your code and own what is relevant for your website. Just a good example with websites like that, you probably will have a problem if you will try to create something more than just the pages. Because, for example, you need to create that specific filters and you just won't be able to do that. And you will lose that opportunity for getting all that traffic. We had a talk before for like red dresses, whatever. And you already create a website which will not allow you to do that. So probably you can use Wix sometimes, but if you're like want to play it seriously, you need to do at least like Shopify, WordPress, or something like that.
Sweet. Awesome. So I think actually, Victor, we're running out of time. So we're going to carry on. There's a lot of, so if you stop sharing your screen very quickly, there's a lot of sort of technical bits we have and also how to read an SEO audit. So we'll cover those bits in the next session and plus talk about backlinks as well, which should be okay. But before we end off, we have a couple of things to speak about. So maybe Alexa, you can share screen.
Yeah.
Sorry, you need to.
So yeah, we definitely will get these questions. We'll go into detail and come back to it for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess.
Yeah, favorite.
Sorry, there is a feedback form. So as usual, please fill out feedback form and how we can improve the session for next time. And in general, cool. And then, many thanks to one of our sponsors, Seeders. So we actually last summer raised 2.4 million as a kind of pre-seed round, of which 650 came from the Seeders crowd. Initially quite skeptical, obviously, on crowdfunding as a concept, but in hindsight, it is actually a really good community initiative. And obviously having consumer brands in our portfolio allows us to really build the brands in a more community kind of driven way. It's usually really good for PR as well, as we highly recommend Seeders usually as a top up to your existing kind of round. So like the way I would go about it is if you want to raise it with a VC or some, institutional or some family offices. And then you go on Seeders, you basically say, look, we're raising $1 million round. That 1 million round would basically be raised in literally the first day. And then everything else comes from the Seeders community. And you kind of have this FOMO and this kind of hype around you. And so, highly recommend them. Cool. And then I think you're sharing in the group, right? So that's the Slack invite. And then, we ask everybody to introduce yourself. So maybe say, who you are, where you based, what your hobbies are, and what your company is, and maybe what's of interest to you. And we're starting to build a community around SEO, and then of course we later expand it into more growth channels as well.
So the Slack invite, we'll host AMAs in there. We'll give, answers to SEO questions. There's like loads of value in that group. And it will eventually expand it into different growth channels too. So we have a bunch of experts on PPC that you can get help from. Facebook ads, TikTok ads, email marketing's a big one, general CRM stuff. And I can hear my Slack notifications pinging off as well.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, perfect. And we're making note of all the existing questions, which we haven't had a chance to answer right now. And then put it all into the technical, into the backlinks session next week, where we again do a recap of this session with the questions answered and then go into the backlinks topic. All right. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining and see you next week.